Angaza Forum Chairperson, all protocols observed. Good morning once again, bonjour, maramutse, bon dia, guten morgen, karibuni sana. The financial sector plays a vital role. It cannot be reiterated. But I want to highlight the ways in which it contributes to the achievement of the SDGs, the Sustainable Development Goals. One of them is impact investing. Financial institutions can direct investments towards projects and companies that have a positive impact on SDGs. This includes investing in renewable energy, sustainable infrastructure, affordable housing, clean technology, and businesses that promote social inclusion and equality. Other factors: social responsible investing. This involves environmental, social, and governance factors. When making investment decisions, financial institutions can create and offer SRI products that align to clients' investments within the SDGs. What about green financing? The finance sector can promote green financing by offering loans and financial products that support environmentally friendly products. Green bonds, for example, countries like South Africa, Nigeria, Kenya, and Mauritius have issued green bonds. Kenya also issued a social bond 2 years ago. These bonds, for example, in the green bond sector, they have issued bonds in the renewable energy sector. Also in energy efficient buildings, just like this building we're in. This is a sustainable building, an example of that. What about financial inclusion? By expanding access to financial services, especially in underserved areas for marginalized populations, the financial sector can contribute to SDG 1, which is no poverty, and SDG 10, reduced inequalities. Microfinance, supporting microfinance institutions and providing microloans can empower entrepreneurs and contribute to poverty reduction, because then you have your SMEs that can access those loans, and also further down, micro entities. Further down, you have the marketeers as well. So what about responsible banking practices? Banks can adopt sustainable lending practices and engage in transparent and responsible banking activities, considering the social and environmental impacts of their decisions. Banks can also offer capacity building and technical assistance. Financial institutions, for example, can offer expertise and technical assistance to help organizations and governments implement projects and initiatives aligned with the SDGs. Measuring and reporting of the SDG impact. The financial sector can develop and implement frameworks to measure and report the impact of their investments in the SDGs, and encouraging accountability and transparency. Financial institutions also can support innovative financing mechanisms. For example, adopting mechanisms that can add additional financial resources for SDG implementation, such as public-private partnerships and blended financing approaches. Insurance and risk management. The financial sector can provide insurance products and risk management solutions that address climate change related risks and other SDG challenges that contribute to SDG 13 climate change. Recently, the Secretary General of the United Nations talked about climate boiling, no longer, climate change. We are really in a boiling state. Other countries are experiencing extreme weather, whilst other countries are not experiencing, for example, rainfall. Other countries, recently in Johannesburg, it was snowing. It hasn't snowed in like 12 years. So there are all these impacts. Also promoting sustainable business practices. I think financial institutions can do that. For example, even the investment promotion agencies such as RDB, Rwanda Development Board, can do that. You have, in many countries, you have these investment agencies that have been created by government that can play a vital role. And I think that the financial sector should work with these organizations a bit more closely. It's not really happening, but they should. And I say this because this is a bit of my background. I worked a lot in the investment sector, a lot with companies, a lot with exporters across various sectors. So I've been to most of your countries, I think all of them, except Morocco. Love to go there. Very interesting country, and they're very nice food as well. Yes, so what can the finance sector do? I think the finance sector overall aligns well with the SDGs and presents an opportunity for positive social and environmental impacts, because these have to be embedded in the business and can generate financial returns by integrating sustainability into their core strategies. For example, in their strategic plans, the financial sector can be a powerful force for sustainable development, but there are challenges. While the financial sector can play a pivotal role in achieving the sustainable development goals, it faces some challenges in effectively contributing to their realization. And I want to highlight some of these. For example, the financial sector looks at short-term focus and profit motive. Of course, it's a business. So they may prioritize short-term financial gains over long-term sustainability goals. And this focus on immediate profits could lead to investments that do not align with the SDGs, or neglecting projects that have longer-term positive impacts. Lack of awareness and integration. Many financial institutions may not fully understand the SDGs or how to integrate them into their core business strategies. And so this might be, a lack of awareness about the potential opportunities for sustainable investments, because banks really don't employ people with sometimes these backgrounds. You need to think then, banks should think, what kind of employees do they want to have in the future? Should it be just, employees with accounts, economics? Maybe you might think you might need experts on climate finance, especially if you're dealing with farmers. You may need ecologists. So think about hiring people with expertise in some of these fields. Another limitation is data and matrix. Measuring the impact of investments on SDGs can be complex due to limited standardized data and matrix. The absence of consistent reporting frameworks makes it challenging to assess the actual contribution of the financial sector to the SDGs accurately. Risk and return trade-offs. Sustainable investments, especially in some developing regions, can carry higher perceived risks and potentially lower returns, especially in countries, I feel, that don't have proper frameworks, don't have a regulatory framework, that is. This may deter some investors from allocating funds to projects that have a more sustainable and social impact and environmental impact. So all this, of course, it's quite, it all depends on the operating environment in that country. So again, back to regulatory and policy barriers. The lack of supportive policies and regulations can hinder the scaling of sustainable finance. In some countries where we work, there is no legislation. And in some countries, even you'll be surprised, there is no caucus group in parliament on sustainable development goals. So that can tells you a lot. So government's failure in some countries to provide clear incentives or enforce sustainable practices might slow down the integration of SDGs into financial decision making. Another adverse thing is greenwashing and impact washing. We've seen this, it happens. Many banks are talking about greening, they're talking about all these things, but it's actually greenwashing and impact washing. It's more of an advert, marketing, and not really that something is actually happening. Some financial products may be marketed as sustainable or impact focused without actually aligning to the SDGs. This is what we call greenwashing or impact washing, and can mislead investors and undermine the credibility of sustainable finance efforts. Fragmented approaches. The financial sector consists of diverse players, including banks, asset managers, insurers, and pension funds. So their approaches to sustainable financing might not be coordinated. In many countries, it's not, leading to fragmentation and also limited impact, capacity and expertise. Building expertise in the sustainable financing and ESG analysis requires investment in training and capacity building, or simply hiring those experts. Some financial institutions may lack the necessary knowledge and skills to effectively evaluate and manage sustainable investments. Noor is telling me that I've exceeded my time, so I'm just going to highlight the next 2 points and end my presentation. So I think addressing all this is quite complex. I've just highlighted to you some of the, the risks and so on. And I think it gives you a really good picture about what the financial sector is going through. But I think despite this, the financial sector yourselves play a very critical role. And I would really urge you to invest in capacity building, invest in also having, I think, the diverse workforce with the appropriate skills. Asante sana. Murakoze. Thank you.